Aviation is one of the fastest growing sectors globally, connecting over 4.5 billion passengers and transporting 62 million tons of cargo each year. While this growth contributes significantly to the world's economy, it also poses environmental challenges, particularly in waste management and recycling. According to the International Air Transport Association, or IATA, the aviation industry is generating over 3.6 million metric tons of cabin and catering waste annually. This figure is set to rise, with IATA predicting that over the next 20 years, passenger numbers will grow by 3.8% per year on average. On top of this, the World Trade Organization expects merchandise trade volumes to increase by 2.6% this year, fueling further growth in global air cargo capacity, which is also expected to expand into 2024. As both passenger and cargo traffic increase, the aviation sector is on the brink of facing a massive surge in waste volumes. To explore how the sector is inching towards managing waste more sustainably, we welcome you to the third episode of Future of Transport, Innovative and Sustainable, delivered by Edmonton International Airport, or YEG.
At Edmonton International Airport, YEG, we can handle any size of operation, including oversized, heavyweight, and industrial cargo within the Port Alberta Foreign Trade Zone. Our IATA CEIV pharma community has expertise handling all multi-temperature controlled shipments, including pharmaceuticals, perishable products, advanced agricultural, and high value-added products. Access Canada, the US, and Mexico through a multimodal transportation hub that includes major highways and proximity to 2 national rail lines. This makes YEG a key hub between Asian and North American markets. Sustainability drives every aspect of our cargo business and on-airport ecosystems, making Edmonton International Airport your best choice for investment to move our industry forward to a net zero future. Visit flyeia.com/cargo.
At Edmonton International Airport, or YEG, sustainability isn't just a goal, it's ingrained in everything they do. YEG works closely with airlines, tenants, and regional partners to lead in waste management. From boosting recycling efforts for maintenance waste to implementing multi-stream recycling containers for passengers, every step helps reduce the environmental footprint. In construction, YEG reuses asphalt millings from past projects and incorporates them into the new runway work, cutting down on resource use and emissions. For the cargo apron expansion, YEG adopted CarbonCure technology, capturing carbon dioxide in the concrete mix, making it stronger and greener. YEG also repurposes stormwater for construction and salvages materials from electrical projects to limit landfill waste, making sustainability a core principle across all activities. So how are different airports around the world tackling waste management issues?
Keeping the environment clean, managing resources economically, and creating a circular economy are priorities for Budapest Airport. The time for single-use plastics is over. We also encourage our partners to use biodegradable cutlery and packaging and to minimize the number of disposable bottles. You can always refill your water bottle at one of our drinking fountains. At the airport, 70% of litter is not wasted, it's reborn. We recycle paper, PET bottles, foil, aluminum cans, and bottles. Everything else is used to generate energy. We're constantly cleaning up illegally dumped waste in wooded areas that are outside the fence but still belong to the airport.
This is not it. Hong Kong Air Cargo Terminals Limited, or Hactl, has turned recycled plastic bottles into uniforms and even used old uniforms to turn into upcycled cups.
當初 Hactl 揾我設計新制服嘅時候，佢 佢哋同我講，一定要考慮埋點樣處理啲舊制服。所以我哋之前都用咗部分嘅舊制服，升級再做咗一系列實用性好高嘅布袋、啤啤熊同埋杯墊。
海外のお客さんのユニフォームを回収原料として使って、そこからマグカップを作るという。
To enhance sustainability in aviation, Airport Council International has launched the Green Airports Recognition Program, which celebrates airports with outstanding environmental initiatives and encourages them to share best practices. However, sustainability isn't the responsibility of a single stakeholder. So collaboration is the only way forward. Even while talking about the most important things that the aviation industry needs to work on, Joe Hendricks, founder at Travel Without Plastics, mentioned collaboration.
I think it stands out the whole time as being the number one thing that people have got to work on. So there's a massive value chain around the travel and tourism industry when you look at all the different component parts of it put together, and everybody in that value chain has got a responsibility somewhere, whether it's plastic or other sustainability. So being able to do that together and each person playing their part and being a part of that jigsaw will help to complete the picture. So I think that's really number one.
How are cargo handlers dealing with this situation?
Whilst we're removing paper, there's still a carbon footprint implication for data processing and a lot of the systems we use, and obviously the data energy that data centers use. So all our data centers are carbon neutral certified.
So how are airlines contributing to this particular sustainability effort? British Airways aims to recycle 40% of onboard waste and reduce waste per passenger by 20% by 2025. In 2023, they launched crew uniforms made from over 90% sustainable materials, repurposing old fabrics into school uniforms for children in Bangladesh. The airline is also tackling single-use plastics, tackling over 2,000 tons annually and seeking eco-friendly alternatives like bamboo and paper. Air New Zealand is also committed to waste reductions, successfully diverting over 1,000 tons from landfills this year, which accounts for 47.5% of total waste at its domestic ground sites and serviced airports, including Auckland and Christchurch lounges. Of this, 842 tons were recycled and 169 tons composted, though over 1,000 tons still went to landfill. Through these efforts, the airline continues to prioritize sustainability and aims for a greener future. On the other hand, LATAM Airlines is working hard towards sustainability, and the airline has eliminated over 1.7 tons of single-use plastics in 2023, achieving 96% of their goal. They aim to reduce waste by using reusable, recyclable, bio-based or biodegradable materials, especially in cargo operations, where reusable pallet covers are being implemented to minimize stretch film usage and waste.
Presented 3 initiatives that we have fully implemented. The first one is a pallet blanket cover for our narrow body operation in Chile. Basically what it consists of is we replace the stretch film that we used to put on a pallet to take the cargo out to the aircraft, but for a reusable blanket, this blanket can be reused around 1,200 times, and it's aiming to reduce 45 tons of plastic a year. The second initiative is also in Chile. We replaced the stretch film that was used in our international import process. The stretch film to surround a pallet was replaced by a stretchable tape, a 3M tape, and that is reducing by at least 80%, if not more, the plastic that we were using in that operation, aiming to reduce probably 24 tons of plastic a year. And the third one is in Brazil, where we implemented another pallet cover blanket, and this pallet cover blanket is being used for our storage process in Guarulhos, as well as our surface operation in Sao Paulo. And that's aiming to reduce 13 tons of plastic waste a year. So overall, these 3 initiatives will reduce around 85 tons of plastic a year.
LATAM aims to become a zero waste to landfill group by 2027, demonstrating its ongoing commitment to sustainability and positioning itself as a leader in the industry with innovative solutions and best practices. Lufthansa Cargo, on the other hand, is turning old freight containers into stylish products like travel trolleys and clocks through a partnership with IRED, showcasing sustainability and creativity. Meanwhile, Emirates launched a unique capsule collection of luggage and accessories made from upcycled aircraft materials, with proceeds supporting children in need via the Emirates Airline Foundation. A sneak peek of this exciting collection was unveiled at the Dubai Air Show in 2023. In response to the need for waste reductions, Air France and KLM have launched mobile applications to replace newspapers on flights, successfully cutting 1,300 tons of paper waste and avoiding 4,600 tons of carbon emissions annually. KLM is also addressing the challenge of single-use plastics, exploring innovative solutions to minimize their impact.
We've been working, I think, over 10 years in KLM to reduce the waste of our cabin, our catering products, and also on single-use plastic, we're taking quite a few steps. So we're reducing any plastic items on board that we can find, replacing plastic cutlery with wooden cutlery, for example, or even the packaging that we can replace plastic with napkins around rotable cutlery, for example, or reducing the plastic upstream with our suppliers. The moment we start working on reducing single-use plastics by replacing it with other materials, most likely we end up adding weight. We all know that weight in aviation means additional fuel burn and therefore additional CO2 emissions. And that's where reducing single-use plastic conflicts with other interests, and that makes us lead to more nuanced choices than sometimes is allowed by regulation. So that's a bit of an issue we're encountering.
While the industry strives hard to eliminate the use of single-use plastics, it still poses many challenges.
Most of the alternatives to single-use plastic are, even if it's just slightly, but they are slightly heavier.
Like a glass?
A glass would be much heavier, but a can potentially might be just on par. But if you look at Tetra Pak water, so if you look at the bricks where you've got the paper carton, there's still a plastic lining in that. There's still a piece of aluminium in that. They're going to be slightly heavier. There's still challenges with recycling those as well. So I think everything has an impact. That's the thing. Whatever we do, whatever product we use, there's an impact somewhere in that supply chain. And not all the greener alternatives are as green as they seem when you look a little bit deeper into it. So we see quite a lot of plastic glasses, for example, would be replaced with a paper cup, but that's also lined with plastic. So they then become quite difficult to recycle, not necessarily because the technology isn't there, but it's not very economically important to do. There's no real economic benefit to that. But we are seeing things, new innovations coming out now with paper cups, for example, that have got an aqueous lining. And they could, where recycling is allowed from flights, they could go in with paper recycling. But then you've got, will they hold alcohol? Is the integrity there? So there's a lot of testing, there's a lot of things that need to be done to take the kind of work that we do in hotels and see if that practically is going to work in the airline industry.
Clearly, sometimes the green solutions is not actually sustainable or economically viable. While we keep our quest on to search for more greener alternatives, let's talk about one more issue: lack of harmonization in terms of regulation.
One example is coffee grounds. Identical coffee in pads or tins is loaded onto a European and intercontinental KLM flight at Schiphol Airport, the Netherlands. Onboard processing is similar until it comes to disposal. On returning to Schiphol, coffee grounds from the European flight are turned into compost and biogas, whereas those from the intercontinental flight are burnt with other waste. European airlines fully support animal health, of course, but this example shows how restrictive this legislation is. Consequently, any airline flying into the EU is obliged to burn catering waste on arrival, regardless of the origin. This means industry waste has increased substantially to 430,000 tonnes per year, which is equal to the amount of waste that 810,000 EU citizens produce in a year. This puts European airlines in a difficult position. We want to be more sustainable, in line with EU's own ambitions, striving for a circular economy. But EU legislation is also restricting us from recycling and reusing more. If it's safe to do so, the industry wants to recycle and reuse as much as possible. Our customers want this too. We call on EU policymakers to address this problem. Let's work together to reduce waste.
So while the industry stakeholders and regulators come together to wave off this challenge and pave a path towards a greener future, we should also ensure that we reduce the use of single-use plastics and be conscious about our carbon footprint. To discover more such innovative sustainability initiatives by the key industry players of the aviation industry, stay tuned with us and keep watching our series, Future of Transport, Innovative and Sustainable, an air cargo series delivered to you by Edmonton International Airport, or YEG, one of Canada's busiest airports.